How's everybody doing? Um, yeah, another day, another hour without the female essence that is divinely mine. Um, People are single for a reason. People are in relationships for reasons, but oftentimes there is no reason. To be honest, I've been single for a long time. The whole boyfriend and girlfriend thing just seemed very weird to me. I might have to say I actually haven't had a girlfriend in probably decades at this point. Damn, that hurt to say. No, it didn't hurt to say. Snap out of it. See, this is the conditioning. Why have a girlfriend? I guess the first time I had one was probably back in was it close to kindergarten? It was probably first grade. I was macking. I guess things were a lot simpler. I just didn't have the restrictions, the social, you know, medians that I had to adhere by. I was straight macking, bro. They loved me. They loved Cash. But now that I think about it, I haven't had a girlfriend in a while. Sure, there's been opportunities. If I wanted one, just like if I wanted a car, I could go get one. Now, I'm not comparing a woman to a car. Car has a lot more use. um, Women are really so. The more you grow up, I think as a young man, especially, your view of women changed. I was raised primarily by my mom. I was a mama's boy. And being a mama's boy, she obviously taught me to be the knight in shining armor a woman could ask for. That didn't do very well. Damn, I look tired. That didn't do very well with my escapades through young adulthood with the opposite sex. So, being that it may not go my way at times, I pivoted because I learned patterns, right? Getting back to why I was single, right? Over time, like I said, I've had opportunity. Obviously, you've had encounters with, this. I can't say that word. This is a family channel. But why haven't I had, I guess, a partner long term, blah, 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 keep talking to them. I mean, I guess in short, I kind of shut myself off, right? Um, so I know a lot of young men nowadays are growing up. They're kind of shutting the world off around them. I know that's a common theme. I know that shutting the world off around you makes you operate at a different level. Maybe you have goals or a mission, no distractions is what they like to say, right? No distractions. Focused. I'm locked in, fam. However, how long do you lock in for? What's the goal? Is it a number? Is it a season? Is it a certain date? Um, how long do you lock in for? And what are you missing along the way? Because remember, you're focused, you're locked in, right? Tunnel vision to your goals. With being tunnel vision, how long are you in that tunnel? If I'm in a tunnel for years, is it tunnel vision anymore? Or is this just my life? So I think what happened was things happened with females. I felt like what I was maybe my approach should be changed up. So being that I needed to do that, I put all of it on the back burner, right? I was just like, I need to grow before I need to go back out there. I need to do this before I go back out there. I need to have this success before I, start opening up to women because, this could happen and then that could happen. Time is super relative, right? When they say to stop and smell the roses, that's another thing with growing up. And especially with the opposite sex. This applies to women too, right? Because everybody wants to just shut off the opposite sex. I got to do what I got to do. How long do you do that before you realize, oh my God, I'm 60 years old and I've shut off everybody? I've had maybe 3 could be relationships and they fuddled out to nothing. So, partially why I'm making this is because it's been years. And of course, like I've made the excuse in my mind, like I got to do something else. Like I got to go to the gym. You know, girls are not going to like me if I had the gym, even though they liked me when I was skinny. Even not as much it was when I was fat. Obviously, it's just because probably here in my mind, I was like, dude, I'm a fatty. Nobody's going to like me. Um, but that's not the point. It's not about getting the most muscular. Am I going to be Chris fucking Bum? No. Like, it's just not going to happen. Do I need to grow my hair out? Blah, blah, blah. It's just, do I need to get a beard? No, 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 no. Stop focusing on that. What you need to get before. I need to get a Lambo and then she'll like me. Focus on what you. Perspective is a big thing in relationships. Focus on what you are coming across as. When you focus on how you're going to be the best you can be in relation to other people's lives where you can help them, don't want to harm them, right? So you have to know what harms them and you have to know what helps them. I forgot my tangent. Anyway, second one, the woman trap, right? So let's say early, so I'm different. I would not in high school. I wasn't in a high school. I wasn't a hound dog. Like I said, I was a fatty. So I was like, women don't like me. What the hell is the point? I'm just gonna grind on park. Um, but as I started getting older, started maturing, voice started getting a little deeper, hair started getting a little curlier, jawline started getting a little fuller. I started going out a little bit because I didn't have that in high school. I didn't have that I guess confidence, but like the young confidence is different, right? Because the world, you don't know shit about it. You think that you are the world. Um, and most dudes, they start the female, their exchange with females, and it kind of soils the continuing repetition of relationships with the opposite sex. I noticed that too when like I said, when I was going out, when I was like in college-ish, at home-ish, college-ish. I think I went to class. Um, going to these parties, it's like it's almost like a counter. Like, the little Geiger counters where like, you're just like, okay, as a young man, I need to show my worth in this world. How do you do that? Immediately, you start looking at outside sources, money, females. All these things start. You have to put a monetary value on them, the numbers. That's how it makes sense to us. So you start being like, instead of seeing, not the intricacies of humans internally and how they, cohesively stick together, you start seeing them as black and white numbers. And I know I fell into the trap of that too. I was like, oh, and I'm not condoning this. Like, oh, I got to get like 2 more, it's not good. Of course, young men obviously need experience so that way they know, and men especially. Women are a little bit different, and I'm not being sexist, but they are a little bit different. Of course, they're going to have their initial, communication, this relationship with, either the same sex. But the thing is, with our youth, the childhood, if you are getting in relationships and things can escalate so fast where the innocence is lost. And when you rip that from somebody's soul, it's very, very hard to nurture that back, right? So when these young men or young women are doing all this that they see on TV, they don't know any better. They're not realizing it's a lot more that's at stake than just going home alone that day, right? Another one, obviously, is the hookup culture, right? So, like, well, not even the hookup culture, sex in general, right? Like, sex is everywhere. It's pushed out, and especially nowadays in the 2020s. It's weird saying that. In the 2020s, we are in the most in your face time of ever. Um, we only see sex. Sex sells everything. Every avenue, everything that you can think of. Um, Dude, especially beautiful women. That's another thing. That's why it pisses me off with the sex work because, bro, what did Spider Man say? Great, great. Well, no, that's Uncle Ben. You know the quote. Um, like these things garner money. And like money is who cares if you have $1 billion and you can't get laid, bro? Nobody cares. That's what I'm saying. Like there's sex houses pushed out in front of us, so it's hard. And what Jesus said, he did say it. You'd rather gouge out your eyes, bro. Like it's the window to the soul. And if it's just pushed out in front of you, what do you think is going to taint it? You think it's going to if I'm just continuously showing you killings, you know what I mean? Like your soul is going to remember that. Everything you're experiencing is your soul is seeing that. It's participating in this dimension through all your five senses, right? So, it's very important to protect that because the slightest slip up, it's all about momentum. And it's so hard. That's why they say it's a war because the slightest crack can lead to terrible consequences. This is kind of getting longer than I thought it was going to be. Um, I'll just wrap these up with a couple more points. Jeez Louise. Um, I guess the I guess one of the ones I was talking about with one of my friends of mine. He told me that he just got out of a relationship and he was pissed because he waited so long. He was trying to find the right female, the good girl, right? Um, had all these lists for her and she hit all these requirements. And he said to me that it seemed like she knew, like she was hitting all these metrics on purpose, like almost like acting. The good woman, there is no such thing as the good woman, right? Just like there's no such thing as the good man, right? We're all flawed. We all come from sin. We all sin regularly. We all have our vices and then our hidden agendas that we don't feel comfortable expelling. Sometimes they come from deep inside. Jung calls it the shadow, right? So that stuff manifests into everyday life, especially something as powerful and as big of an attractor as love or love. The good woman is not going to be your good woman. The good woman is somebody that can be symbiotic to your values and morals that helps you get through whatever the fuck this is, right? That's the point. And I guess that brings me to my last, but like why? Why you want a girl? Like I said, I'm single, been single for a while. I used to be like, yo, I need a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. I'm going to get a girlfriend. And then I would hear those things like, oh, the minute you stop wanting a girlfriend, the minute she comes. I was like, bet. I thought it was like no fat. Like, bet I'm going to stop fapping and I'm going to be swimming like Dan Blazeri. No, nothing. Right. And I'm like, dude, I stopped wanting a girlfriend, but I legit like had to stop wanting a girlfriend and focus on what I needed to focus on because when I wasn't doing that, I was bypassing everything in terms of growth. I was bypassing everything in terms of, I guess you could say, education. Like I didn't want to learn skills, let everybody else do it for me. I was okay. I was complicit with being naive almost, just because I wanted a fucking nut, dude. And then you start the process, and mind you, I'm still a big proponent of fighting lust. Okay, I that is probably one of my biggest sins. Again, I struggle with all of them. You know, gluttony used to be a big one of mine. Um, Envy, we all, like I said, envy. That's another thing with women, was the women scorn with envy, right? And women are a little bit more emotional. Like I said, I'm not sexist. This is just factual, and women are beautiful creatures, just like men are beautifully handsome creatures. Pause. But that's what I'm saying. There's no good woman. So the minute that you start detailing what you want out of yourself and out of another person, do not let it get trapped of projecting onto a almost like a blank canvas. Like you see a pretty face and you project all these things immediately. You're going to set yourself up for failure. There is no good woman. You have to take the good with the bad. You have to be an open slate. You have to be just as open as she is, right? Just as open as your flaws. You can't hide things like that, because what happens is that creates a division over time. That division separates wider, and then it can't be reversed, right? So the good woman, do not try to project like, oh, she must be a Christian woman or anything like that. Learn the person first. It's not immediate. Attraction's a slow building process, right? So if you want a girlfriend, do not rush. Always treat, and especially a man, right? And I can't really talk for women. Obviously, you want to be, kind and everything like that. But for a man, do not rush, because you rush, you become the liability. Because why are you, as the man, trying to get her? She's trying to get you. Do not become the liability. Open mind. She's not the perfect woman, nor would she actually ever be, probably. Take the good with the bad. And, you know, things don't work out. That doesn't mean you immediately quit, right? That's with everything. But like I said, these five senses, use it wisely, be diligent. And honestly, if you want a girlfriend, talk to women. Just talk to them. Like it, talk about anything, and be, the biggest thing I could say when you're talking to women is be as self-aware as possible. Okay? Do not, any awkward pauses or anything like that, do not try to mull them over like she's going to forget. She's not. Be like, damn, I haven't been this awkward in a long time. Give me 2 seconds. Let me muster up something. And then like turn around, be like, you got this. You know what I mean? Do something like to break that, because self-awareness is key, especially with relationships. But yeah, I guess this is a long ramble. I don't have too much advice, because like I said, I ain't got no hose anyway. So why you listening to me, bro? Get off the couch. Bag, you feel me? But never chase the bag. Let the bag chase you. That's another video. Yeah. Um. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to add. Um. No. Yeah. Why do you want a partner? And communicate that. Communication's key. You've been so fucking nice. You've been so nice to me. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.